And you are watching another edition of Blewetts Blitz. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve in an hour and 37 minutes from now. Some transparency. I already started this and was talking for a good 3 minutes and then realized I didn't go live. So, it just is what it is. One of those days. Busy day. I recorded a short video on Jamie Sherwood and his game and why he bounced back and what exactly he did well. I did the long review for the game, about 50 plays. I did the Jake Asman show where I reviewed Ty Simpson's most recent game and Moore's game against JMU. So if you're interested in those, go to the Jake Asman show from today. And I think the first hour I break down the film of those guys, and it's a lot of quarterback discussion and that type of stuff. If you're interested, which I think all Jets fans would be interested right now in the quarterback kind of discussion. So, and then we get the game between Mendoza and Simpson in the Rose Bowl coming up too. So that should be exciting. I got to leave for work at about 11:30, so I got about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes max, to talk to you guys a little bit about the Jets, which transparently, I was thinking I had to shower before I came and did this or go to work. And I was thinking, like, I go into these streams and I literally have no plan. I just go in, I'm like, I hope the chat lights it up a little bit and we can talk football. And obviously, like, I have a background of, like, okay, could talk about Simpson and Moore and, Mendoza and the game and whatever else, but pretty much I just go in. There's absolutely no plan into these streams. So I appreciate you guys. Brutal season, man. I'm so excited it's going to be over. I'm going to the game like an idiot on Sunday. Luckily, actually, I mentioned it to Jake, and he's going to give me club level seats for free, which is freaking awesome. I then donate some memberships because, thankful and it's the holiday season, and then I win a jersey. I'm going to I'm going to get a Nick Mangold jersey in a few weeks. So good day. But I'm excited for the season to be over and done with. And we can move on into the off season. My biggest problem with just moving into the off season is, like, regardless of who they get and whatever else, I'm not optimistic, really. Like, I want to be, I truly want to be, and I want the Jets to get the quarterback and all this stuff. It's just, if you don't have the right coach, if you don't have the right coaching staff, doesn't matter what quarterback you get. Like, I don't think Mendoza, Moore, Simpson can save you from a terrible staff. Obviously Wilkes was fired, and realistically, and it's been the same talking point for everybody the last week or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever month. There's nothing that you could point to that Glenn has done well, and any faith in him is truly just blind optimism. There's nothing else you could say. There's quite literally nothing else. So I hold on, sorry, driveway camera detected motion. I'm always like gonna check that stuff because it's just me. But yeah, it's hard to buy into this coach again. There's legitimately nothing that you can hang your hat on with this coaching staff. So can any quarterback really pull us out of the doldrums? I don't know. But nonetheless, the offseason should be more fun than the season, because this film, the last couple of games have been terrible, man. Like, you get blown out 29-10 versus Saints team who has 4 wins going into the game, which is, horrific. You get blown out against the Dolphins, you get blown out versus the Jags. You're probably going to get blown out the next 2 weeks as well against the Pats and the Bills. And, like, all the good they did, where they beat the Bengals, they beat the Browns, they beat the Falcons. Like, you start to feel a little bit more positive on the coaching staff and where they were going. And then they completely wipe it out by getting just absolutely stomped the last 3 weeks. And it's going to be 5 weeks in a row where they get absolutely stomped. And, like, legitimately, they've lost more than half their games have been blowouts, really. And, like, save me with the score shit. Like, oh, they were close in the Bucs game. They were not, until the very end and took a miracle play. But fine, if you want to take that game, okay, cool. The Dolphins game, they lost by 1 touchdown, but they were down 2 scores in the entire game. So, like, sure, I guess they were technically in those games, but, like, the Bills game, the Cowboys game, these recent games, like, it's been so many just blowout losses, at least like 6 or 7 blowout type of losses for this team. So yeah, it sucks. This season has been brutal, but nonetheless, we can talk some quarterbacks. We can talk the game, which I'll get into the chat, and we'll talk about the game a little bit more. But overall defense, same kind of stuff. Saints were kind of okay with just like nickel and diming the Jets. Obviously, a few deep plays to Olave. One Malachi Moore blew the coverage horrifically. Another play, man coverage, third down again, and I think Olave was the 3 on that play, and the 2 rubs Jordan Clark, and you have Jordan Clark in man coverage on Olave on third down, and make sense. And then of course they don't have any type of banjo call or anything like that on the receivers. And then the number 2 picks Jordan Clark, and boom, Olave just walking in for a touchdown on that one. So you have blown coverages again. I think the communication between the linebackers and stuff was a little bit better. Defensive line was decent. The run game they weren't horrific against the run game. Phillips made some plays. Briggs made some plays. Will McDonald had a really good fourth quarter, but he didn't show up until the fourth quarter. We had some really nice pass rush reps. He also, just a few pass rush reps. He forced the hold on one play. It was a Taysom Hill touchdown, like a walk-in touchdown, a blown coverage. Will McDonald forced the hold. So he actually played decently in this game. And I'm only saying decently because the first 3 quarters he was absent. The last quarter he was very, very good. JJ, again, I get the injury stuff. I do, but I've been pretty disappointed in JJ. Like, I just haven't seen really much of anything from him. And there's been some pass rush wins. I'll give him that. 3, 4 maybe that have been like impressive. But a lot of his plays are like against tight ends. Blowing up a tight end in the run game, which he's expected to do. He outweighs them, I'm not seeing a lot of like splash plays in the run game, front side versus tackle. It's more like backside or even front side versus tight end where he's kind of expected to do that. So I've been disappointed in him, and then transitioning to the offense, man, Myers didn't have a great game in the run game, specifically pass game too. Not great. Membu, I think, struggled a little bit more specifically in the run game. Cook, 5 or 6 of those sacks. Definitely. No, I'm going to say at least, I'm going to say 5. 5 is the number. 5 of those sacks were like purely on him, where he just didn't get rid of the ball. The one play, people will criticize Engstrom, which I get. But the one play, there's like an overload to the right side where like the most novice football watcher would look at that right side and be like, there's a blitz coming here. Like, there's 4 guys to the outside of the tackle or 3 guys to the outside of the tackle. Something's coming. And you had 3 routes to that side. And one of those routes being Isaiah Davis into the flat. And what you're taught to do is, okay, there's a blitz coming, get to your hot. You replace the blitz with a short pass to that side because there's going to be, numbers advantage there. And Isaiah Davis knows it. And as soon as he gets into the flat, he looks back immediately at Cook expecting the ball, and Cook never looks at the blitz. It was horrific. He was really, really bad. In this game, let me just pull up that play because why not? If I'm gonna pull it up, or if I'm gonna talk about it like that, just talk about how horrific it was, because it was really, really ugly. Horrific interception. Where is this play though? There's so many plays of him getting sacked that like I can't just find sack. It has to be bad sack. I'm assuming it's this one. Yeah, like look at the right side of the screen. Or the bottom of the screen. Like, does that not tip off to anybody that, hey, maybe a blitz is coming here? Maybe, just maybe, I should check if a blitz is coming here. And I know I have a flat to Isaiah Davis. And the blitz comes and Brady Cook never looks at it. And, oh, wow, Isaiah Davis is wide open in the flat if you just replace the blitz. And he just never looks at it. Boom, sack. And it's like, oh, Engstrand's fault. It's like, yeah, again, he's not the best in the world. Definitely not. B minus, I would give him C plus B minus, which is, and almost like kind of like an incomplete C plus B minus. But like, how do you blame him for this? Like, he gave him an answer, and then the pick was even worse from him. He had some positive steps, or not. He just had there was some positivity to him the first 2 games where he had some nice plays, obviously some bad red zone interceptions, etc. This game, you really don't get worse than he was with that play. The pick, the footwork was horrific. His footwork was horrific on that play. Never sees the safety, never checks the safety at all. Like, he's just looking through the concepts, never checks if the deep safety is getting depth, if it's expanding, nothing. Throws a ball off of his like back heel while pointed the completely wrong direction, throwing across his body while standing. It was really, really ugly. That was terrible. And then there was just straight up misses where he was just missing guys in terms of throw the ball too far inside, outside, whatever it may be. He almost got Stone Smart killed twice. Missed Jeremy Ruckert. The idea was good. There's like a hook route or whatever it was over the middle, and he throws it low and inside, which was good because it's away from the DB, but he throws it too far low and inside and it bounces. He was very, very bad. He was very, very bad. And now you have Fields today came out, he's going on the IR, which Sharman's soft, dude. What a excuse my French here, but what a bitch, dude. Seriously. All great leader, competitor, Ohio State versus Clemson, all that shit, just right down the window for me for Fields. And obviously, who cares? Like, I'm going to hate him now anyway because he didn't steal money from the Jets, but $30 million guaranteed, and now he's out. And fake injury. It's 10:33, so I can talk like this, but he tore his vagina. Doesn't want to play, doesn't want to get hurt, but what a soft move by Justin Fields. So no respect to that dude. Do not wish him luck. Sorry, don't. If he were to compete like the rest of the year and keep playing like he was, and you heard the great locker room stuff, like I'd have no ill will, but I can't root for that guy now. He wasn't going to play anyway, most likely. Maybe it's to save face, but bitch move by him. I'm trying to think of anything else. That Ruckert two-year, what was it, like a 2-year $10 million contract, 2-year $11 million? I will say I think it's a slight overpay. I do, just slight. I'm not going to bitch about $2 million, $3 million, whatever it was. I think instead of like $5 million a year, he probably deserves more like 3 or 4. He really has improved as a blocker though. So I'll give him credit. And I destroyed Ruckert his first 3 years. He was really, really bad. This year he's turned out to be, at least this year, I'm not saying overall because you have to take into account the 3 years prior. Individually this year, he's been a good blocking tight end. Who can't catch the ball. Like he's not unathletic. Like he can catch the ball and stuff. So a little bit of an overpay. I'm okay with it. I don't think it precludes them from taking signing a free agent tight end as your number, 2 or 3. I don't think it precludes you from precludes, is that even the right word, from drafting a tight end in the 3rd, 4th round. I don't. I think you get it. You bring another tight end, and maybe Stone Smart's your 4th. He has a few nice catches in this game. Jelani Woods, maybe. He's been appearing a little bit, but Stone Smart had some good catches in this game. The problem is he doesn't really play in line. He's kind of like a big receiver. So Neil from Cali. And by the way, if you guys can hear clicking and it's annoying, let me know. I bought a mouse and a little mouse pad because it's a lot easier to scroll and do film and stuff with it. So if it's a pain in the ass, just let me know, I guess. But what's up to Neil? Streamer for the holidays. Yeah, man. Hopefully everybody has a good holiday, enjoys the family. Both my family's side, like my side of my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, nieces, they're all sick. So I'm not going there because I'm not getting, I don't care about getting sick really. Like I do obviously, but the biggest deal is having a 2-year-old with the flu, not fun. And then same thing to my in-law side. They're all sick. So I'm going to be sitting in my house for 2 days, which honestly, I don't mind very much. I do not mind. So hope you enjoy your family or not, depending. Fire our Glenn, one and done. And before people say it's not going to happen, do not take away the only hope I have for the. Yeah, I'm not going to take away your hope, Christmas spirit. I'm not going to take it away. Billy, they're not rotten to the core. They have a punter and a kicker. Okay, the kicker may retire. Yeah, it's like the Jets brought in some kickers to like try out whatever like the last week that kind of went under the radar. If I had to bet just purely on them breaking kickers for whatever reason, I'm going to assume Nick Folk's going to retire after this year. Go out on a high note, so can we please not be doing this next year? Hopefully we're talking playoffs. Can you imagine Jets Worldwide? Can you imagine talking playoffs? Seriously, dude, like I've been doing podcasts, I think, since 2014. Brandon Dowling, if you guys are really, really long time Jet Nation guys, it was, you guys know Tyson from Let's Talk Jets. He's a good dude. It was him and this guy, Dennis, at first, and then they left because of whatever reason I'm not going to get into. They left, and then it was Brandon Dowling, and then I called into Brandon Dowling's show, just talking probably shit about Gino or something, and then he like emailed me or called me or whatever. He's like, "Hey, you want to do the show with me?" I did the show with him for a little bit, and it got to the point where like I didn't like it because we were kind of talking about the top 5 guys on the roster consistently, and there was no depth to our conversations. It was kind of just a WFAN bullshit type of talk. And I got And then we separated because I want to get more into like the, a little bit deeper and just into the roster, not even to like film stuff yet. It was just the roster stuff that he wasn't, I'm not talking shit, whatever. It was just very basic. I want to get more into like, instead of the top 5 players, 35 through 50 too. And then I did a podcast with my buddy Vinny and the Jets, or Joe Vinny and the Jets, I think it was called, for Jet Nation. And then he bounced, and it was me and Glenn Naughton. And then I want to get more into the film stuff. I want to get a lot more into the film stuff. Started really, really studying in clinics and books, and left Jet Nation, got a little stagnant for me. Went to TOJ. And then I left, and then Jet Nation, and then JetX. So I don't know why I talk about that, but it's been such a long time. That's the point. I've been doing it since 2014, and like 2015 was exciting, but like it's been 10 years and at that point I wasn't really watching the film. Like I was just talking about the game, like, oh yeah, we beat the Pats, but there was no depth to it. There's no depth. So in terms of like doing reviews and like full blown studies and whatever on this freaking team, it's probably been since like 2018, 19, no, maybe like 17. I started to like delve into it. Josh McCown year. So like, yeah, really 8 years of just watching absolute shit. By the way, I've seen a lot of the Rodgers stuff. Can we stop acting like Rodgers would bring this team to the playoffs like he did to the Steelers? Like there's a reason that Tomlin hasn't had a losing season in 47 years. Like the dude brought Mason Rudolph to like a 9-8 record or whatever it was, and Kenny Pickett to a winning record. So like, can we stop sucking his package? Like I get it. Like he's fine, but if they actually look at like his EPA and stuff and all the numbers, he's a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL. He has a great coach and a great team and a great organization. So can we stop acting like dunking on Jets fans for not wanting Rodgers? Rodgers would have been the wrong move. Debate a wall. He would have been. He would have brought us from 3 wins to 5, and we'd have had $50 million extra on our books between him and Devontae. Like, what are we doing here? He brought like you have winning seasons again with Mason Rudolph on the Steelers. So it's not Rodgers. It's not like Rodgers took the Browns from the depths of hell to the playoffs. So can we stop with the Rodgers shit? I saw way too much on Twitter today, or like recent weeks, or this recent week. It's been annoying as shit. Stop with the Rodgers stuff. If you think Rodgers would have brought this team to the playoffs, you're a fool. Straight up. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. You're an idiot. What's up, Tank for Ty? Maybe Brick convinces Woody to fire Glenn. Hey, man, maybe. Really? Like, hey, there's not a better time to do it. 5 first-round draft picks, $200 million the next 2 years of cap space. I think it's like 110, 20, whatever next year. And then $100 million the next year as well after that, with 3 first-round draft picks. 3 quarterbacks most likely coming out in this draft. I think they're all relatively on a similar plane. I'm not trading up for any one of them. I'm drafting the one that comes to me. Another draft pick after that to address the roster. 2 seconds, 3 first next year. If a guy is to be out there and you can guarantee him to come to the Jets and Woody loves him, maybe it's a situation, Maybe John Harbaugh is fired. My only concern with John Harbaugh, and again, I'm always transparent. Like I don't study John Harbaugh. He's a special teams guy who doesn't really call offense or defense. So he's kind of in the same realm of let me pause. He's in the same realm of Aaron Glenn in terms of like being the leader, the CEO type of coach. Again, Harbaugh, Glenn on that spectrum. So I get there's a separation there, but those are kind of like a dying breed in the NFL where really, if you look at a lot of these coaches, it's the nerds, dude. It's the nerdy coaches who know really good schematics who win. Liam Cohen, again, we're all about the rah-rah stuff that's what used to work. The Duval, we were all like, oh my God, this guy's not going to work. But realistically, who gives a shit about your personality? If you win games, your team loves you, So like Liam Cohen, I'm sure Ben Johnson's not the coolest dude to grab a beer with in the world. They win. I'm sure they love him. Shanahan, all these guys, like it's the nerdy guys who know X's and O's who win in this league. So that's my concern. And I'd have to dive a lot more into it with Harbaugh, like just off the surface level, just talking about it, like kind of openly with you guys, is if he's not an X's and O's guy, you'd really have to depend on him bringing in an excellent staff. So like, and this sounds crazy, but I don't think it's as slam dunk of a thing as maybe some other people think. Maybe that's crazy for me to say, but I would rather the nerdy X's and O's guy. Like I would trade years of first round picks for like a Kyle Shanahan versus a Harbaugh, because I think he's just a special teams guy who's more of an overseer than he is a true X's and O's guy. That sounds crazy, but you know, you have to depend on the coordinators with him. Rob D, not sure if you saw the won the raffle. Yeah, I was considering. I didn't know what it was for, honestly. I just wanted to gift memberships. I knew it was a jersey. I didn't know which jersey. And then he texted me after, and he said that any Ring of Honor type of player, whatever exactly it was. So it's like Mangold, Curtis Martin. I'm like, dude, I was like thinking about donating it and just like giving it to another person, being really nice. But I don't have a Mangold jersey. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a little bit selfish. I want a Mangold jersey. I'm gonna get a green Mangold jersey and maybe hang it up right about there. And I'll wear it, but I think I'll put like a one of those little things called like a monkey hook in the wall, just really nice and simple, and just put it on the wall behind me. I don't have a Mangold jersey. I probably should, right? So I'm gonna take advantage of it. I was gonna be a nice guy and donate it, but nah. What are your 4 biggest needs in the draft with the 2 first and 2 second round picks? Obviously I can't. We're not just going to draft exactly the biggest needs because it's depending on who falls to those picks. But quarterback, I would say it is hard because what's going on in free agency, really. But for me, I'm leaning offense. So let's say the Jets don't do anything in free agency. Like let's just say free agency does not exist and the draft came first. I would lean towards quarterback, receiver, interior offensive lineman, even though they can maybe address that in free agency, or Simpson or ABT, whatever exactly they do there. And then the 4th is going to be defense. I think one of those will be addressed on offense, and it's probably like 2 offense, 2 defense with the first 4 picks. But my 4th one past the offense would probably be, it's going to be linebacker or safety for me, whichever one. And if it is, and if you do, let's say, address offensive line in free agency, it's going to be quarterback, receiver, linebacker, safety. Probably safety then linebacker. Yeah. So let's say it is the 3 offensive players. The first pick on defense would probably be a safety. I think it's the biggest need on defense right now, because like Sherwood, at least there's upside there, you know, where you've seen him flash before. So I think you have potential at linebacker. Where safety, I don't think you have a starter. You know, I think Malachi Moore could be in the future. I don't want him to be the starter, just the walk-in starter, day one starter, like walking into camp next year. So I think safety is the biggest need on defense. You probably need 2 starters at safety. You probably need at least a linebacker. You need a depth D tackle. You need a starting level D end. You know, like a rotational guy to rotate with Will McDonald and JJ, whatever it may be. But you need like a quasi starter on at D end. You know, I think you have. I don't think it's ideal, but I think going into next year, you have your 4 top of the depth chart corners, you know, with AZ Thomas, with Stevens, with Brownlee, and with Stiggers as a special teams ace, and a guy who's in recent weeks, he's actually played pretty well while starting. Some really good pass deflections on Olave and just in general in this game. Even last week he had a few flashes. So I think he's a decent depth corner. But yeah, so that's it. Right now they have no wide receiver 1 and 2. Yeah, Mechie fell off hard, right? And I'm not gonna say he fell off because, and if you guys have been here, Billy, I know you've been here. I know Rob D, I know plenty of guys have been here forever. During those Mechie weeks, what was I saying? Like I was saying, it was 95% of his yards were just schemed or open. He's been bad though. Like past, I think a nice over route. The first couple of weeks during the season, there's really been no player where I could go back and be like, yeah, Mechie really performed well in this play. It's been a lot of drops and a lot of schematic, like Angstren getting him open schematically. So at first we were kind of talking about him. Hey, you know, maybe he could be, some people were saying receiver 2, which is crazy. 3 is even crazy. I was saying like, maybe he could be receiver 4. He's fighting for a roster spot at this point. So in terms of like being solidified, I think the Jets have their receiver 1. I think they have their receiver 3 with AD Mitchell. I'm not even saying he's an ideal receiver 3, but going into next year, you're going to take the shot on him. Okay, receiver 3. And then I think you need a 2. And then any depth, you know, 4, 5, 6, you know, 4, 5, 6 could be Mechie, Johnson, and Smith, or 4, 5, 6 could be 3 guys who are completely new to the roster, you know? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I think AD Mitchell's your 3. He has potential. He gets open. He's fast. He's tall. He doesn't adjust to the ball well. I don't think he's the toughest guy in the world. I don't think he has the best awareness in the world, but his upside is high enough where he's going to be a starting receiver to me. Starting personnel is typically it's for most teams. I think for probably every team actually, it's 11 personnel, so it's going to be 3 receivers, a tight end, and a running back. So he's a starting level receiver for you. He's just the 3rd, not the 2nd in terms of. I obviously receivers is the X, the slot, and the Z. But I'm talking about like 3 in terms of targets at receiver. That's where he should be. Like that's where I would slot him. So I just have to do something on my computer. Oh, damn. Okay. There you go. Okay. If we lose out, we're most likely getting a top 3 pick. I think right now, Rob, like based on statistics, the Jets are, I think what was the graph? I think they were favored to be pick 3 in the draft this year. You just gotta have to hope that the Raiders beat the Giants and then the strength of schedule works out. I know that some people say they want the Giants they want the Giants. Some people are saying that they want the Giants to win because then it still gives the Jets the potential to get to the number 1 pick, but like they have like a 3-4% chance to get there. I'd rather the Raiders beat the Giants so then at least one of the teams in front of us who needs a quarterback is not above us. Because if the Raiders fall behind us, and let's say it's Giants, Browns, Jets, then we're higher than the Raiders. So if we need to trade up, we can trade up. Obviously, we have more capital than them anyway, but let's just say there's a world where there's no trade ups. You get a pick between 2 quarterbacks. Let's say Mendoza goes to the Browns. Okay, then who do you like better, Jets? Do you like Dante Moore or do you like Ty Simpson? Whereas if you're pick 4 or even your pick 3, but the Browns and the Raiders are in front of you, what happens if you don't like Moore and it's Mendoza and Simpson go first and you're sitting there at 3? Like we don't want Moore, So I want at least like 2 of those guys on the board when the Jets pick. That's kind of where I'm like, it's kind of how I feel right now. So I would like to somehow get to 3, but with the Raiders and the Browns not being both above. Obviously, I want to finish at 1, but yeah. So gotta hope that the Raiders win. I know they play the Giants. They play the Giants and they play the Chiefs with a 3rd string quarterback. I think they just signed off of the Bills practice squad, so he's not going to be used to the system and stuff. So maybe the Raiders can win that game. The Browns play the Steelers, who I believe are like locked into their playoff spot because they won their division. So they don't need to play for anything. So maybe they rest some starters and the Browns win, or they play the Bengals next week, who like it's the following week, and the Bengals aren't a juggernaut. Like they could beat the Bengals. So got to pray to God those teams win. Rob D, this may sound greeny, but even though I want to lose out, I don't want to get blown out considering these teams are in our weight class and it's an indictment against coaching. Yeah, no doubt, dude. Like getting blown out. They've been blown out so much this year. They've been blown out so much. It's happened way too often. I remember the first couple of the weeks of the season where it's like you get blown out versus the Bills, and it's like, okay, listen, it happens, but you only get another 1 or 2 blowouts for the rest of the season. Like you can't survive getting blown out consistently, and it feels like half the Jets' losses have been blowouts. Like even that Dolphins game, they finished the game, whatever it was, the first one down by a touchdown. But they scored late and then they onside kicked it. Like it was never really that close in that game. Like they were down 2 scores consistently. The Bucs game, they were down 2 scores pretty consistently. It took a miracle play by Will McDonald, and Todd Bowles completely taking the foot off the gas, which again happens. It's like, yeah, give them credit, but like, okay, even if you give them that Bucs game again, Dolphins game, I'm not giving them. I would like to see them compete against the Saints and not get absolutely blown out. Like the Jags could have, what was the score? Did they put up 45? Whatever it was. Like they could have put up 50. The Bills could have put up 50 on us. The Cowboys could have probably put up 50. I think any quarterback gets sacked here. Nobody puts a hand on the defender blasting into the backfield. Dude, 5 of those were like strictly on him. 3 of them, there was nobody open and all that stuff. Fine. But there was another play where he reads the front side, he reads the first 2 routes, and then the next route is AD Mitchell, who's wide open on a drag route across the field, and the Saints run a pick pressure. Whatever, if you're nerdy, you know that is. They run a pick pressure, and Demario Davis works to the inside, and Brady Cook with the guy open just takes off and runs right at Demario Davis and just gets sacked when he could have just stayed in the pocket and just threw the ball to AD Mitchell. So it was bad. It was bad. That was not the offensive. 3 of those sacks, I'll say, were on the offensive line, or coverage, or whatever it was. Fields' NFL career is over. He's going to go to another team just because of the potential. He'll go to another team and be a backup. I knew Ruckert would be better away from Hackett, from Kev Chada. Everybody can do better. It's just crazy. The Jets are they won 3 games and they're pick 4 right now. Yeah, DK. I don't know. I watched the video. It didn't seem like that dude say anything like racist or derogatory. I don't know. Maybe say something like derogatory. I don't know, towards DK. But listen, dude, you can't slap another human. So some people were like trying to defend him, like, oh, well, what if you said something to him? It's like, that doesn't give you the right to hit somebody. That's not how the world works. You can't let words offend you like that. Now, if it's like a threat or something like that, then yeah, the guy can get like arrested for harassment or terroristic threats or something like that. But like if he's just like saying you suck or S my D or something like that, like you can't hit a guy. Like what happens if he broke his orbital bone, then he's getting arrested for aggravated assault. So like, just a dumb move by DK. You can't let some drunk ass freaking fan from the opposing team piss you off that much. We're gonna go up to him, grab him, and slap him in the face. I think he slapped. I don't think he punched him, because I got have been out if he punched him. But still, what if that dude's got weak bones? Or just in general, you just got suspended and cost yourself. I actually just got a notification on ESPN. He got fined a bunch of money, or he lost a bunch of money in his contract. Something. Tank for Ty. I have a gut feeling the Jets are going to draft Simpson. I hope they do. I would have never have guessed, Tank for Ty, that you hope that they do. Rodgers would have been have masked just some Glenn's efficiency. This is as painful as it is, dude. Like I and Sham, my guy, my editor of all the videos. Everybody shout out Sham, the best editor in the business. He's gonna teach me some OBS stuff, so I can draw and stuff on the screen. But the thing is, like, I'd rather have 3 wins with 50, 60 million more dollars than 5 wins with 50, 60 less million dollars. Like, that's kind of what, like, who cares? It's just like, it's so stupid. There's no chance Rodgers would take this win from a 3-win team to a 9-win team. There's literally no chance. 5 wins last year. And I get it. Listen, if you had Folk last year, realistically, we probably have at least 7-8 wins, so I'll give you that, but there's no way. Rodgers would have gotten us the 20th pick, not even 20th, because we're not a playoff team with Rodgers. We're not a playoff team. He probably gets us the 13th pick, like let's see. Tank thon. I would say we have like 7 wins. Yeah, the 13th, 14th pick, 15th, something like that. Yeah, the 14th pick and have them trade up all the assets we just got. But we wouldn't have got the assets, because it would have been a thing where like, oh, well, maybe we could make it with Rodgers, and then we don't trade Sauce, we don't trade Q, we don't have those picks. We have 1 first-round draft pick, and then Rodgers sticks, and then Rodgers retires or gets out of here, and then we're sitting there with a 13th pick. Nothing like the domino effect of having Rodgers back here would be horrific. Right? Not having the draft picks we have now and $60 million more on the books. That's what people want. That's the dumbest shit I've heard. People talking about they wanted Rodgers and shitting on Jets fans who didn't want Rodgers. You're an idiot. I really don't think there's a way around it. I'm sorry. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How many wins did we get with Saleh this year? He wasn't a good coach either, but at the moment, leaps and bounds. But Saleh he wasn't great either. Obviously, the thing is the defense would be better coached, even though realistically the defense was ass last year as well. How many times did the Jets score a touchdown and then the team would just drive back and score a touchdown immediately on the Jets? The Colts game, the Jets came back or whatever, scored a touchdown. They let was it Jacoby Brissett at that point, or was it still Anthony Richardson? Whoever the quarterback was, is whatever whatever quarterback. They came down. Score a touchdown on us. The Jets drive back, score a touchdown. Then the Colts drive back, score a touchdown. The one game against maybe that wasn't Jacoby, maybe that was Anthony Richardson. And then because there was another game, maybe it was against the Pats with Jacoby Brissett, where like they drove down the field the last drive like 80, 90 yards and scored a touchdown on the Jets. The defense was bad too. The clock management stuff and whatever else with Saleh wasn't great. Maybe we win the Broncos game. Maybe with Saleh we have 4 or 5 wins. Right, I would say maybe Broncos game. Yeah, Broncos game. I'm not giving Saleh a ton of credit. Now he's better than Glenn. which is saying a ton. But how do you feel about drafting Ty Simpson and trading for Kyler Murray? So that I'm not for Kyler, man. I don't love the attitude, the clause in the contract, wherever that was, about having to study film. I don't know if he's gonna be the guy. I don't think he's the vet you really want around Ty Simpson or any one of these quarterbacks. And maybe I'm wrong. Obviously I'm making an assumption here, but he seems like more of a me guy. Like I rather have a Mariota, Kirk Cousins, something like that, a guy who's not going to cost you money, because then that $30-40 million, whatever it's going to be for Kyler Murray, I'd rather take that money. Let's say $40 million for Murray. I'd rather take $10 million and pay Mariota and take that $30 extra million and address the offensive line and receiver or tight end. So it's not just like individual. Okay, yeah, Kyler Murray versus Brissett or whatever. Or Mariota, like, yeah, Murray's the better player, but is it worth it $30 million more for a bridge quarterback and a guy who doesn't seem to be the best like leader and mentor for a quarterback? I'm not for Kyler Murray. It almost feels like too much of like a half measure. Like I think if you're taking on Kyler Murray, you want him to be the answer, because Kyler Murray is, I would say, like an average-ish. Like he's somewhere in like that. I don't see a list of quarterbacks in front of me, but like somewhere 14 to 20, like something like that in the league, maybe 14 to 18. I think 20 might be harsh. 14 to 18, let's say, top of my head. That's not a bridge to me. Like that may be a possible answer. I think a team who has faith in their coaching staff might see like the Cardinals in a situation, be like, hey, we can do better with this guy. I don't think he's a bridge. I think he's too expensive to be a bridge. And on top of that, I don't love him in a quarterback room with, again, like, hey, do you tie Ty Simpson to Murray? Hey, like, do you study film? Like, what do you see in this play? Nah, I'm gonna play Call of Duty. It's like, I'd rather have a guy who's gonna mentor him. I think that's the most important part of the bridge. It's or one of the most important parts. Obviously, is winning some games too, but like secondarily or primarily, it's developing that quarterback. So you want like a Kirk Cousins level guy. Like you want, even though he's not great, but listen, in terms of like teaching the quarterback, is there a guy better out there than Kirk Cousins to come in here and teach Ty Simpson, Mendoza, whoever it may be, the ropes? Hold on. Let me turn. I don't know if I've been in front of this light too much, but I'm turning that light off because it is like starting to hurt my eyes. Oh, it's dark. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? You guys don't care about looking at me. Can't wait till the draft order is set. Also, college football playoffs. It'd be awesome to watch. Yeah, and I think sometime early in January, the Jets or the prospects have to declare too, so we'll know exactly which prospects are going to be coming out and all that stuff. So that's great. Joe, if you own the Jets, are you firing Glenn after this year, or is it no? I'm firing him. I am eating my pride as Woody Johnson, and I am not letting him potentially ruin another quarterback. Is it too dark like this, or is it not? Is it okay like this? Yeah, I'm firing him. I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm not letting this dude draft a quarterback and potentially ruin him. He's giving me nothing to prove that he deserves to draft a quarterback. We're getting blown out consistently. We have 3 wins. There's nothing positive to hang your hat on with Glenn. So yeah, I would get rid of him. I would dump him. Does that happen? No, I don't think so. I think Woody Johnson's too prideful, and it depends on the coach you want, right? Like if you don't love a guy out there, then maybe you don't do it. But if a guy, if a guy, if there's somebody out there you're on, yeah, I would do it. Ty needs to play. Yeah, I'm more in the sit camp for these guys, for all of them. Like, let them just kind of absorb what the NFL is. He's a 1-year starter. I would be much more so let him sit. If you're telling me, hey, would you rather play him week 1 or sit him for the entire year? I'm sitting him for the entire year. Let him acclimate to the NFL. Don't just throw him into the fire immediately, especially in the New York market. Oh, actually, yeah, Yoshi, I noticed. I didn't think about this. Do you think Isaiah Williams could be receiver 5? Yeah, I didn't think about Isaiah. So I think you have 3 of your 5 or 6 receivers next year locked in. I think Aaron Smith's probably here just based on, upside. I think realistically it's going to be Garrett Wilson, unknown receiver 2, AD Mitchell, your 3, Williams, Smith, and Mechie all back. And that's like your 4, 5, 6. If I had to bet right now, but Isaiah Williams is back. Yeah, I think he's a receiver 5. Yeah, receiver 5 or 6. I think that's fine. And I really liked what I saw from Ty this past weekend. Hoping it's another great performance. Yeah, go and watch Jake's show. I did like an hour, probably like a half an hour on each of those guys. And I broke down his game, and again, it's another situation where like he doesn't get a lot of help. He does not. Mendoza and Moore undoubtedly get more help from their coaches, from their running game, from their offensive line, from their receivers. He had 3 or 4 just blatant drops from his pass catchers, where he, again, like, and I like Moore too, but like Moore is chucking up 50-50 balls and his receivers are making absurd contested catches for him, or JMU's blowing coverages and he's hitting guys deep, which is great, but does that happen at the NFL, unless you're playing the Jets? So, I was more impressed with Simpson's game than Moore's game, I would say. Because Moore also had a really bad interception in that game, and the other one, he had 2. The one was really bad, and the one was iffy. I broke it down. It was a little bit more iffy. He got a little bit unlucky, but still a forced ball. So, Joe, what is your opinion on what we should do with Breece Hall? I like the talent, but his attitude kind of makes me want to let him walk. My only problem with letting Breece Hall walk is like I think they're almost like pigeonholed in having to re-sign him, because why the hell at the trade deadline would you not trade him for a 4th round draft pick if you're not going to re-sign him? That's my problem, right? Because if you weren't going to re-sign him, then trade him. Because at that point you're like 0-7, 1-7, whatever it was. Why not get rid of him? You're not getting a comp pick for him because the Jets have $100 million in cap space. So whatever they do in free agency is going to wipe out what the compensation for Breece Hall. If they're going to sign an equal or greater contract to Breece Hall, so it's going to wipe out. So I feel like they're going to, because they would be idiots to not, because then why not trade him? It depends on the price for me. I think he's closer to average than he is to elite. Much closer to average than he is to elite, to be honest. I think the last few weeks he's not been great. Like he had actually that good play last week where he bounced it, but he was bad last year. He was well below average last year, and this year I think he's plus average. But does he want $14 million a year? Then it's a no. I'm more around like $10-ish million for Breece. Okay. 2 years, 20, 2 years, 22, something like that. I'm fine with, for Breece, just because they get, again, and why not trade him? So I think they're going to, because they look stupid if they didn't. They have egg on their face if they don't sign Breece Hall, in my opinion. One of them, Allen Davis, are good running backs plus 3. Yeah, I would draft a running back every year regardless, because of how many running backs hit late in the draft. No doubt. Allen and Davis are capable. I actually personally like Davis more than Allen. I think he's shown more in the reps he's had. I think Allen has more upside because of how big he is and like how fast he is at top speed. But Allen or Davis is the more consistent down to down running back. Like I've said this before, if I had to depend on one guy on inside zone to get me 5 yards on 3rd and 5, whatever it is, I'm taking Davis over Allen. Allen's a little bit more boomer busty than Davis. Davis is just consistent. I like Davis. Now, do I think those guys are either of them are really a true number 1? I don't. I think they're more 2 and a 3. So you probably still need like a starting level running back, which you can get, 3rd, 4th round or in free agency or whatever. But again, then why not trade Breece at the trade deadline? So I think they do sign him. Did the Chiefs just sign Mike White? No, they signed some guy with a crazy name. I don't know what it is, but it was some random dude. I can just hear what he's saying to get me Mendoza. Yeah, it depends, man. Who is number 1? Is it the Giants? Then yeah, if they have conviction and they love Mendoza, then hey, fine, dude. If you're pick 3 and it takes a 2nd and a 3rd to get Mendoza and you have that conviction, God bless. Me personally, if I'm the GM, I'm not trading up for any one of these guys. Hopefully, both. There's 2 options when they're picking, but we'll see. Marvin Guns, what's up, dude? Wouldn't it be cool to have a Jets Giants Super Bowl next year? Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't make the comparisons. Like, what if Anna De Arma, whatever her name is, like walked into my room right now? But I have a wife, so I would shoo her off anyway. You're talking about 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, but I would like to have a Jets Super Bowl. I don't want to see the Giants in the Super Bowl, to be honest. I would hate that, Marvin. I don't want to see the Giants be that good. I would like the Giants to suck forever. I don't like the Giants. I would like to see the Jets and Jets Lions. I'll say Jets Lions, right? Because I want another team who has been suffering, or another fan base who's been suffering. At least if the Jets lose, which I'll still hate that team for the rest of my life, the team they lose to, but at least I can find like some comfort in, hey, the Lions have never won one. So Jets Lions. No thanks on the Giants for me. I think Pittsburgh still needs to win one more game, or the Ravens have to lose one more game for them to win the division. However, is that the case, Yoshi? You could be right. I could be 100% wrong. But yeah, DK suspended, so maybe that helps. I think you actually are right though. I'm just an idiot. Jace almost want the Jets to wait until 2027 and draft a quarterback, just because I have no trust in the staff, and that's part of the I think they're almost going to force quarterback because they know they may be on the outs. Like if they don't draft the quarterback this year, and then they win 5-6 games, like they know they're probably going to be fired. But whereas if they can attach themselves to a rookie quarterback, they may not be fired. I get like the premise of what you're saying, but then the problem is like, what if they win? Let's say they win 5 games next year and they pick 9th. What happens if there's only 2 quarterbacks who come out and the two teams who need quarterbacks are 1 and 2? What do you do? That's the concern. So what do you? Because everybody's 2027. Again, I've said 1,000 times this year. It's supposed to be top. Oh my God, there's 5 first-round quarterbacks. Klubnik, Nussmeier, Sellers, Arch Manning's coming out. Drew Lars coming out. They're all going to be guaranteed first-round draft picks. This is what we were saying 1 year ago at this time. None of those guys are going to be the top 2 picks. So like, all the guys in 2023 or 2027, what happens if out of those, let's say 5 guys people are talking about, what happens if 2 of them suck, 1 gets injured for the season, there's 2 guys who comes out and the top 2 teams need quarterbacks, and you're sitting there with your thumb up your ass. So it's not going to happen. The Jets are leaving this draft for the quarterback. Need Charles London out of here. This has been brought up 1,000 times, right? 1,000 times. He's developed nothing. Like, let's see. Is it Charles London? Charles London Wikipedia. Is it Charles London? Coach. I know we did a breakdown on this. Oh yeah, Charles London. I know we did a breakdown on this obviously on Jets Nation, or not Jets Nation, on Jet X, where we got much more into it. But like, if you look at he was a running back in the NFL, and then he joined the Bears as a running backs coach in January of 2018. Then he was a quarterbacks coach with the Falcons, where they have like Ritter or Rattler, not Ritter, right? Rattler, and then the Titans in 23, who had Will Levis, and then the Seahawks quarterbacks coach in 24, and they had Geno, who was not good his last year in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, and now the Jets. Like, what has he done? This is your guy to develop a rookie quarterback? Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. Shout out Sham. Yeah, Sham's the dude. Due to suspension, DK was $45 million in future guarantees voided. How? Can you follow up on that, Yoshi? How is that possible? Yeah, how is that possible? I thought it was like a big fine, not $45 million in guaranteed money voided. How does that? I got to look that up. You could be pulling my chain. I don't know. I can't believe our team is so bad. We were resting. Yeah, dude. Yeah, my God. If you're not watching, he's talking about reminiscing over Saleh. Yeah, dude. Like Saleh may be. Apparently he's gonna be in the coaching cycle this time again. He's a good coordinator though. I'm not sure he's a good head coach. I think you want Saleh to not develop a quarterback. Like, you want him to go into a team where he has like developed kind of situation in quarterback. Joe, can you name any defensive player that we had last year that did better besides Stiggers? No one, right? We suck. That did better than last year. Like, who's like obviously not new guys, right? So we can't count Briggs or Phillips or anything like that. Stiggers. Yes, Stiggers. I'm trying to think. Like, even Oliver, he sucks more than he did last year. Adams is worse than he was last year. Quincy, Sherwood, Will McDonald, JJ. He was hurt last year, but still, yeah, nothing. Stiggers. That's it. And Stiggers didn't really have the opportunity to play last year. How many reps did he actually get? What do you think about quarterback Paiva insulting voters? Dude, yeah, absolutely not. That guy in New York, please God, no. And again, I acknowledge that I am making a rash generalization after only watching that dude for a couple of minutes. He seems like a major douche. Like, what a stuck-up douche he seems like. I'd absolutely not. I do not want to root for that guy. I could tell you just based, again, super shallow, just based on a couple of minutes I've seen of how he acts and the turtleneck with the gold chain and shit. It's just very like New Jersey. Like, that's the shit that I like. If for guys who are around my type of area or like not even my generation, like I went to Deco once, which is like a club, and I was it was a long night, and we ended up at Deco, and it was like the classic Jersey Shore fist pumping Guidos with their hair spiked up. Every single person was wearing a guinea tee with a gold or silver chain with a black t-shirt over their shirt, over their shoulder, with jeans and with like those, they're not Carhartt boots, what are those boots called? Those boots that everybody wears that thinks they're tough. Like, that's exactly what he seems like to me. No. He's a guy you'd see at a club fist pumping in New Jersey. He belongs on Jersey Shore more so than the New York Jets. No. And he's like 5'10", right? Yeah, 6 foot my ass. He's like 5'10". He seems like such a douche, dude. Trade back and build this team. Yeah, okay, but then the problem is, who's your quarterback? Hire John Gruden, tank for Ty? Absolutely fucking not. Why? What has he done in 20 years? He went to the Raiders and sucked. He hasn't been good since like the Bucks in 2002 or 3. No. Like, at that point, bring back Bill Parcells. Like, why? What did he do with the Raiders that makes you want to hire that guy again? Like, no. Andre, if the Saints are bottom feeders, what are y'all? Just out of curiosity. Oh, you're upset, Andre? Oh. Ooh. Quarterback. You guys are bottom feeders. We're worse. We're the bottom of bottom feeders, so we're even worse than you. But getting blown out by the Saints is sad. You guys suck too. We suck. I acknowledge that. If you're trying to defend the Saints and saying you're good, then at least I live in the world of realism. You guys are ass. Who the hell would want to coach this? It's not necessarily overly, it's not the most desirable place in the world, but there's 32 head coach jobs in the world. And if you have an opportunity to coach a team, you do. And again, it's not like we're a barren wasteland. Like, if we were going into next year and we had absolutely nothing, if we didn't have $100 million in cap space, if we didn't have 5 first-round draft picks, multiple seconds over the next 2 years, then yes, I'm with you. But we have a lot of capital. So if you're confident in yourself, it's not a bad spot. And if you succeed here, you're going to make a really bbig name for yourself. So guys who are confident in themselves would want this job. Yep. Andre still is, he's still a little sassy in here. I acknowledge we suck. You just can't, which is funny. You guys are 5-win team. Wow. It's all bow down to Andre. Here's the Saints fan. His feelings are hurt, guys. Oh. I hate the logic they use to keep Glenn. That is, if you destroy stability, keeping Glenn just delays this inevitable firing. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. If you're telling me, or if somebody asked me on Twitter today, like, hey, what's your thoughts on Glenn going forward? Like, do you think he can turn around? Are you indifferent or whatever? I'm like, realistically, if you were saying that you have faith in him going forward, it's blind faith. There is nothing, literally nothing you can hang your hat on. Nothing, right? What can you say? Who has he developed? What's got better? Has scheme gotten better? The penalties got okay, like a little bit better for a couple of weeks, and now they're a little bit better than they were with penalties. But they still are a highly penalized team, which I think realistically, and I think Nania broke down like an article, like a lot of bad teams actually get a ton of penalties. I think the Jaguars, who are, what are they right now? Like 11-4 or 12-3, whatever they are, they have double-digit wins. I think they're the highest penalized team in the NFL, and there's not necessarily a correlation between highly or not highly penalized teams and being a good team. Obviously, it helps not be penalized, but still, it was something he said he was going to fix. And again, he walked in, and his problem is he walked in with such an ego. There was no reason for him to be as confident as he was in himself, and even if he was the way he was outwardly was dumb. Like, oh, Justin Fields wasn't coached right with the Steelers. Are you sure? Will McDonald, it's coaching, man. Are you sure? Whereas Stone Smart, he's been on the bench. He's been inactive. He had like 5 catches on one drive. Yeah. And like, I think he had like 3 or 4 catches, but realistically 2 or 3 of them were like very contested. It was good. Like he had a good game in terms of just contested catches. So I don't know. Same thing for Johnny Woods. And he hasn't got a lot of targets, but like when he's been in, he hasn't been an outcast in terms of being bad. So I don't understand why they haven't seen the field at all. Obviously, Mason Taylor being out helps them see the field, but what's the actual time? I think my roadcaster is completely off. Okay, so it's 11:14. I have 16 minutes max left. So if I want to load up the questions or get less questions in, I'll fly through them. But I get ready for work in 13 minutes and then go work for it's only 8 hours, so it's not terrible. But if you knew for a fact you can get one of the 3 quarterbacks by staying at your pick. If you knew for a fact you could get one of the 3 quarterbacks by staying at your pick, is it even worth it to trade up when they're also? No, that's what I said before. They're not. Now if they have conviction and want to trade like a 2nd round pick, okay, I'm okay with it. For me, no. And again, people are thinking I'm crazy. It's fine. I don't really care. All the film will be out there. Go watch the Jake Asman show from this week. Go back watch the Jake Asman show from 2 weeks ago. Ty Simpson was my one. It's fine. It's just I'm not a prisoner of the moment. So I know he struggled recently. But there's a large reason for that. And I broke it down the last 2 weeks. And why? I'm looking at some of these games and they're like, oh, he sucks, incomplete. But I show you some of the context. And and if you're open-minded to it, you're not just locked down in your opinion, because for most people, whatever they saw on a YouTube highlight or Twitter clip, go into those reviews with an open mind. I'm not lying to you guys on what I see. And I could be wrong. Like, no doubt, people are wrong all the time on quarterbacks. But I'm telling you legitimately what I'm seeing. There's no reason for me. Ty Simpson's not paying me. I'm just being honest what I'm seeing. Like, he does not have as much help. I watch Mendoza. I watch more. The running games, the designs, the screen game, the yak. Like, there's so many plays where like they drive the field with 2 plays that are a screen pass or a run play, and then they're in the red zone. And yeah, they capitalize where Ty Simpson seemingly has to work for every yard he gets. So you have to take into context that. Again, I showed the play 2 weeks ago where you get to the backside, which is a Mills concept. He throws a post, and the receiver just stops running. And it would have been a dot. The receiver just stopped running for whatever ungodly reason. So you have to take into context that Moore and Mendoza have more help. I'm not even saying he's by far the best, but I think the talk of like every talk I hear, whether it be on a podcast, whether it be on Twitter, it's Mendoza or Moore. And it's so disrespectful to Ty Simpson, in my opinion. Like, he's a 2nd round pick. If you think he's a 2nd round, I realistically don't think you're watching. Or you watched 1 or 2 games and broadcast angle, it's hard to see exactly what's happening. Or being on the more negative side, you just don't know what you're watching. It just go watch the reviews, man, with an open mind. That's all I ask. And if you watch the reviews and you still had Moore as your one, couldn't fault you. If you watch the reviews and you have Mendoza as your one, I couldn't fault you. But making it Mendoza and Moore and then Simpson is crazy talk to me. It really is crazy. It's fine. I think Smart is better than Ruckert. I think that Stone Smart is a better receiver than Ruckert. He doesn't sniff Ruckert's jockstrap in terms of blocking. At least this year, there's no way. Smart's he's a big receiver. Ruckert can legitimately block. At least this year, he legitimately is blocking very well. Not elitely, but like there's some one-on-one pass rush reps against DNs where he's holding up. Like, he's doing good as a blocker. So that's the problem with Stone Smart is he can't be a wide tight end. So he's more of like a big slot tight end. He can crack some guys, some of that stuff, but he's not like a traditional tight end. So he's a little bit harder to manage. He's more like a specialty. Okay. I think this Andre guy just saying the same thing over and over again. I think he's just a bot, or he's either a bot or he's on the spectrum. But okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay. Yeah, Field. I seem like laughing on the sideline and shit and whatever else. And realistically, I'm watching the games. I'm not glued to the TV. I know I'm going to watch it the next day anyway, so I'm watching passively because I am watching intently when my son's not awake. When my son's awake and running around and wanting to play and stuff, like I'm watching, but I'm not going to ignore my son either. I'm going to go back and watch it 12 hours later, whatever it is. Well, actually, game ends at 4. The film drops at like 6 a.m. typically. So it's, and then I work and stuff. So yeah, I'm usually watching the game less than a day later. Okay. I think DK loses $55K over the next 2 games. He loses 45 in future guarantees. I gotta read more into that. That's crazy. Tank for Ty. They need to draft. Yeah, they can't leave this draft out of quarterback. Can you imagine if they do? Like you get around 1, which by the way, I got screwed on my work schedule. I just actually checked it. I didn't get screwed. It's just how it falls. I work every single holiday next year. Like whether it be Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Halloween, Thanksgiving, 4th of July weekend, I work the entire weekend. So like I really get screwed, but I have off Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night on draft weekend. If you guys have been here, well, maybe not last year, but if you've been here for at least recent years, typically draft night, I hang out with my buddies. We dabble in some adult activities, and then I come on here a little bit banged up, and it's always a fun conversation. Because I'm definitely feeling it when I come on to the stream after. And we will continue that tradition this year. So get ready, post draft, not even post draft. The Jets, realistically, my buddies usually like they'll stay a couple picks after the Jets pick, like usually around like mid first to early 20s. They tend to leave. So probably around like pick 20, 21, 22, I will jump on stream and I'll be streaming the rest of the draft, and we'll just bullshit until 2:00 in the morning or whatever we're gonna do. So be here for that if you're interested. Saints had Rattler, Ritter's Falcon. I always get confused with Rattler and Ritter. Always. So Ritter. Yeah. And he didn't develop obviously into anything. Timberland boots when you see this. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Timberland boots, dude. Guinea tee, gold chain, black shirt over the shoulder, jeans, and Timberland boots. That is the fake tough guy, or I think I'm tough guy outfit of all time for Jersey. What's up, D Stern? Paiva, yeah, just please God no. Just hopped on, didn't catch it, and I'm gonna lightning around a little bit because I have about 9 minutes. Just hopped on and catch anything. Takes on Cook's performance. Oh, it's just horrific, dude. It was so bad. Again, 5 of those 8 were on him. The interception was brutal, just missing guys open. He was really, really bad. Royally Slucker is Stanley he was really bad. Super conservative, not taking shots, not replacing the blitz, terrible footwork, running into sacks. It was about as bad as it gets. And I've seen, as you guys know, as we've seen horrible quarterback play since forever, but that was as bad as it gets. Only thing Glenn has going from the special teams. Yeah, but like, and realistically, Tank for Ty, it was recommended to him by Westhoff. So like, sure, he listened to one of the better special teams coordinators of all time, but like, so yeah, like whoop-de-doo. Like, great, you listened to one of the greatest special teams coordinators of all time, but it's not like he like handpicked up, like studying films. Like, yeah, I really like this guy because I watched him. It was recommended to him by a coach he respected. So sure. O'Regan, I would actually be happy with any of, I'm with you. I have my preferences. I do. But with any one of them, I'll be okay with it. Ty slander. You know what it is. People are prisoners of the moment, stats and all that stuff and whatever else. And again, I broke down it all on Jake's show. And I'm going to have probably 3-part reviews of all of those guys in the off season. So I'll drop like maybe one a month of each. Something like that, whatever I'm going to do. But I have like 120 plays of Simpson. I got like maybe 90 to 100 of Mendoza, probably the same about 90 to 100 of Moore. And I'm going to break down every game and show you like, hey, he was not helped here. This is when he struggled in the pocket, whatever. And I'm going to be honest. Have to also take into account that from Yoshi that we're in a division with Allen and May, can't take a knife to a gunfight. Therefore, I'm good with either more. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Yoshi. In terms of the ceiling, and especially in the AFC, which is stronger than the NFC, you need a stud. You do need a stud. Okay, I saw Simpson mocked the Jets at 18 on Tankathon. So I'm with you. Top 10, top 5. I think really if all these guys come out, like assuming they're on their same trajectory, and they don't like screw up in interviews or they don't flub up the combine, like whatever it is, as long as they stay on their current trajectory, I think they're top 10, top 5. Now there's a chance that like, whatever, let's say Ty Simpson's late to meetings and then he blows off a team. Like there's always that stuff that's possible. I'm not saying Ty Simpson's that guy or anything like that. I'm just obviously throwing out a situation. Like there's possibilities that these guys drop for whatever reason, but like right now, I'd say, yeah, probably all top 5. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Like it's possible. What will you order from McDonald's for the post? Really, not even McDonald's, dude. Like I think that was only because like it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was literally the only thing that was open. But if I'm going to indulge in like really shitty food, which I do once a week, where I have like a really bad meal, and I plan it all week because I'm a psychopath. Tomorrow is Taco Bell. I know I'm doing that tomorrow. So yeah, if I'm eating like really shitty food, if I'm like drunk or whatever, it's gonna be like Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, or Wendy's. Even though I've learned that when you order Chick-fil-A late at night, they give you like the shittiest chicken ever. Really. Like the last 2 times I ordered it, because again, I'm not whatever. I don't want to get into like that stuff. I do like the cheat meal a week thing. And the last 2 times I got it, it was like one of those patties that like the entire thing was like breading and like a little bit of chicken in the middle. I was like, this sucks, dude. So Chick-fil-A is not the move at nighttime. So I'm gonna go T-Bell or Wendy's. Side note: any pet peeve or interesting story working around Christmas? No, I'm hoping tonight's not the night. I am patrolling in this hat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think I've had anything like super interesting. I've been pretty lucky in my town where everybody's pretty chill on Christmas. The thing you do worry about is like domestics, like family being together, drinking, emotions high, family members pass or somebody not getting a present they want, like whatever. That's the potential is like domestics. I haven't had, oh my God, tonight's gonna be a bad night. I'm knocking on wood. I haven't had anything like that. So we'll see. Or pet peeve about Christmas or anything like with around work? No, not really. My work's pretty cool though about like holidays. Like they're like chill. Like, listen, you do what you want to do. Like this is a shift. It sucks to be working on Christmas. If you live in town, go home, hang out for a few hours, answer calls if they come, which is awesome, because who wants to be working Christmas? Like nobody, so we'll see what happens tonight. I'm hoping it's a nice chill night. We'll see. It's not going to be Kev. If it's not, I'm going because you brought me here. I'm going to be so mad at you. I'm going to say it. There's going to be a really shitty situation. I'm going to say it on camera. Kev Trotta. And it's going to go out on YouTube. You son of a bitch. You screwed me, dude. I know it. Is there a uber nerdy assistant offensive coordinator out there nobody's talking about? Honestly, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not the best with like around the NFL just because like one, I'm balls deep in Jet stuff and like I pay attention to the Mets and Devils and stuff. And now a little bit of college, so I'm not really paying attention to like, this quarterback's coach from the San Fran. Like I don't really know. Maybe there is. I don't know about him. I'll just be honest. You probably know better than I do. Jets worldwide. I don't know. Damn, I'm so late. Only good thing about the season is the Jets playing the Grinch that stole the Colts picks. Yeah, dude. Colts. The Cowboys have struggled since they traded for Q. My shitty food destination is Shake Shack. Yeah, those smash burgers are pretty good. No doubt. I just knocked on wood. Yeah, man, watching that pick get better is the only thing that helps on Sunday. Yeah, rooting against other teams is always fun, I guess. I heard Notre Dame head coach is an NFL head coach. Freeman, right? Is it Marcus Freeman? Is that his name? Yeah, Freeman. It is 11:27 though, so I'm going to go, so I'm not late to work. Again, everybody have a great holiday. I will see you in about a week, recapping the Jets getting blown out versus the Pats. Most likely, again, I highly recommend if you're interested in the quarterbacks to go to the last 2 weeks. I was on the Asman show. You'll see whatever quarterback film breakdown. Go and watch those if you want to like, I don't want to say learn because there's some of you who know what you're talking about, whatever else, but just in general, go and watch that. Let me know your thoughts, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It really legitimately does help. And past that, let me see. Jets, what's up? Mendoza's a great processor when Ty Simpson does more. Ty Simpson changes the plays more and stuff, no doubt, at the line of scrimmage. And he processes really well too. Great show. Appreciate that. Enjoy your holiday. Peace out. See you, Kev. See you, Oregon. Is it Oregon? Saw Ty and Mordek. It was awesome. I appreciate that, Dino. I want Ty as well. Again, appreciate all of you. Have a good holiday. If you're drinking, get a fucking Uber. Why? It costs so little money. Do not drink and drive. Do not be stupid. I love you all. And